Okay, so I checked out the outfit, right? Now, I s- this hasn't been on my radar, right? This film had not been on my radar at all. But it was on a couple of my people's lists of the films they enjoyed from 2022. Right? I think Sean Sean McKeever had it on his. I think Ed Douglas had it on his, and Tupac Favor had it on his. So I was intrigued, right? Because I think the one big thing was I saw it was a gangster film, right? And I saw Mark Rylance was in it. And I was you know what I mean? Like, I know how old Mark Rylance is. Great actor, but he's an old dude. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna buy this old dude running around killing people and all of that kind of thing. Now, I understand, right? We had is it Nick Oldenthorpe? Something like that, right? In Nobody. I love Nobody was great. But Mark Rylance is older still. So it was just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. So I was a little skeptical. But as I saw it in my boys' lists, I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to check that shit out. Right. So this is the feature directorial debut from um, Graham Moore. He co wrote the film with Johnathan McClain. It is produced by Ben Browning, Amy Jackson, and Scoop was Wazerstein. It's executive produced by Brad Zimmerman, Milan Popalika, Jonathan McClain, Ashley Fox, and Alison Cohen. It is co-produced by Nell Green and Elizabeth Siegel. Okay. Alexandre Disblat took care of the music. Dick Pope, cinematography. William Goldenberg edited the piece. Production design was Gemma Jackson. Art direction is Richard Selway. Set decoration is Tonya Sherman. Costume design, Zach Posen and Sophie O'Neill. And a lot of props, I feel, have to go to those two. All right. Maria Garaloma Sale, Leza Warren, Chloe Medlings, Christine Mallet, Lauren Hawes, Andreas Franz, Satinda Chama, Christine Blundell, and Ema Adir handled hair, makeup, prosthetics. And our cast, well, Mark Rylance is Leonard, our cutter. He's got an assistant called Mabel, played by Zoey Deutch. And then there's our crime boss, all right? Our crime boss, Roy. For the bright life of me, I cannot remember the name of his family. I, mm, damn, Bugle. I think it's Bugle, right? But Roy is the head. He is played by Simon Russell Beale. And he's got a son, Richie, played by Dylan O'Brien. Also a bodyguard, right, who works with Richie as well, called Francis, played by Johnny Flynn. There's Monk, who is Roy's bodyguard, played by Alan Maya Diaz he. Got some other gangsters played by William Ketch and Laris Carkalins. There's an FBI agent played by Johnathan McClain. More gangsters played by Steve Chatfield and Mikhail Forjek. And then, see, it was a little surprise. So I ain't going to tell you who these peoples are, right? But we've got Nikki Amuka-Bird, Chedu Agboth, and Michael Addo. They are also in it with some very good performances. So the gist of the film is this: Leonard, a master English cutter, not tailor, who's ended up in Chicago, operates a corner tailor shop with his assistant, where he makes beautiful clothes for the only people around who can afford them, a family of vicious gangsters. One night, two killers knock on his door in need of a favor, and Leonard is thrust onto the board in a deadly game of deception and murder. Bum, bum, bum. Now, we're not necessarily told this crime family are the only people that can afford the clothes, because we do see other people in and out of the shop, right? But they're probably his biggest customers. I mean, they probably pay the most, you know what I mean? But yo, I gotta tell you, people, I was so surprised by this film. So this was nothing what I expected. Oh my days. I loved it. It was so good. So good. One of the things that jumped out is it starts with Rylance talking about cutting, right? And how you make a suit. And we see him, then we see him go about that process. And it's the intricate detail that really stood out from jump, right? That's one thing that just intrigued me. It's just this detail. And I was like, yo, okay. And as the story goes on, right, it is mild mannered, right? It's this, oh man, this interesting approach to things, because we just have the character just talking, and you're just thinking, okay, well, this is like a gangster film, right? But I can't see this dude with guns and shit. Like, how's this gonna work? You know, right? I think you can have these predetermined judgments, but you know what I mean? It's just the surprise when things go in a completely different way, right? You can look at the film and think, oh, I think they're going to do this. They're not going to do that thing, right? And then as the story is playing out and we get these twists and turns, right? Which are just like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? You know what I mean? You're thinking, where do they go? Right? So wait, if that's how, are they going to do that and then it doesn't happen, it goes somewhere else, and you're like, oh man, right? Because the worst thing this could have been is a Guy Ritchie ripoff, and it is nothing like. It's its own animal, right? Inhabits its own world and is smart, very friggin' smart, right? We have these incredible performances. Mark Rylance is just fantastic, right? He's fantastic. Zoey Deutch, you know, really, man, she really delivers here. Really delivers, you know, which was great. It's fantastic to see. You know, I think you can have your you know, you can have your judgments, but she's definitely delivered on a lot of stuff that, you know, we've seen her in, right? Which is yeah, I mean, that's always good. Right now, she's been in a lot of teeny bopper films, right? Which, you know, not necessarily my cup of tea. But she's also, yeah, I think she's been in a few things which kind of like stand out, right? And yeah, we're seeing her really come into her own right now, which is, yeah, it's pretty good, right? Now, we did see her last in something from Tiffany's, which, you know, that wasn't great, right? That wasn't the best. It wasn't to say her performance was rubbish in that, but it's just the filming alone just was not, you know. But yeah, this, woo, this was very good. This was very good, and you will, right? You just see a real talent there. So that was great. Right. Then we've just got the other performances, you know, which, yeah, everything has to be on point, right? Because of the nuances with this script, like the twists and the turns, right? So, you know, there's people giving you this human element, which you're thinking, oh, right, that's a gangster. I'm not expecting that. So it's real smart. And the end, man, it's kind of like June Messiah, right? I really enjoyed that book. But after June, you're like, well, where do we go from here? And you're reading June Messiah and go, okay, this is really good, but I do not know how they end it. I have no clue how they're gonna end this fucking film. And then, boom, it all just like falls into place, and you're just like, what? Yo, that's crazy. And that was the thing with this, it just fell into place, and you're just like, oh shit. Really, really good. And then they throw you another little thing, right? They throw you this next, and you're just like, what is going to happen here? And then we get this new element, right? There's so many layers to these characters. We get these little flashes, right? Which you're just like, is this the past? Is this the future? Did this actually even happen? And it all just gives so much to this story, right? Because you are on your toes, you are thinking, it'd be like, where can this go? What can happen? How can, you know, get out of this predicament, right? Who's to blame? And you're just, man, you're so engrossed. You are so engrossed with this story. It's pretty freaking great job. Pretty freaking great job. And I've got to say, right? You just want to see what Moore does next. You know what I mean? You want to see what he does next, because this a superb job, right? Now he started off you know, as a novelist, right? Started off as a novelist, you know, and then he wrote some screenplays. You know, it was, you know, stuff that was meant to be very good, right? Wrote The Imitation Game, which you know, I have not seen. It's got Benedict Cumberbatch in it, but I hear very good. you know? Um, but yeah, so that's how we started off. And listen, I think with what he does here, you can see, you know, that where his chops are at, right? Because it is very good. It is very good. Yeah, and the plot twists and everything like that, they do work. It's not one of those things where you're just like, ah, come on, man. That's just like so many leaps of faith you have to do. You know, the dust machina and just no, not the case. So yeah, I think coming from a place of writing 3 books, you know, and then the screenplays, you can just see how we're able to get a film of this quality, but then being able to deliver on your debut feature film as a director, man, you know what I mean? I think you just want to know what homie's gonna do next, right? So if, like me, you drop the ball, then go, people, go and watch The Outfit now, because you will not be disappointed. If you like a smart, you know, crime film, psychological, you know, in piece, right? You know, stuff like Memento, right? Stuff like The Usual Suspect. If that's your jam, then The Outfit, trust me, The Outfit will be for you.